Today's Passover story, again one that I used to read to my children when they were quite young. Today it's dedicated to the Oliarchik family in my congregation. They will know why. It is called the Passover Parrot. I loved our brownstone house in Brooklyn. It had a large, homey kitchen and lots of rooms upstairs. Best of all was the beautiful big backyard with the tall oak tree that shaded us from the summer sun. My brothers, Joey and Saul, and I loved to play there, especially in the springtime. One day our neighbor, Mrs. Brown, knocked on our door. "Good morning," Mama said. "What's that you're holding? Your parrot?" "Yes, Mrs. Cohn. I'm moving. Wouldn't you like to keep him?" She noticed me tugging at Mama's skirt and pushed the cage into my hand. "For you, Liba, a present." And before Mama could say, 7 children and a parrot, Mrs. Brown was gone. I jumped with such delight that I scared the parrot half to death. Mama shook her head. "More things to take care of," she grumbled. "I'll help you, Mama. You'll see." It was shortly before Passover, and Mama was cleaning the house, removing all the chametz, the leavened food we cannot eat on the holiday. She began to refer to the parrot as the chametzdika bird, and before long, we all called him chametz, or chametz in Hebrew. "Can you say the 4 questions in Hebrew?" Papa asked me a few days before the Seder. His eyes and his smile seemed to say, "It's okay if you can't." But Joey was old enough to ask them in English, so I made up my mind to learn them in Hebrew. "Mama, will you listen to me say the 4 questions?" I asked. But Mama was too busy. "Go play in the yard, Liba. Joey will listen to you." I asked Joey. "Why me?" he said. "Ask Saul or Rachel or Fran." "Never mind," I replied. In the end, I chose chametz. Chametz, the bird. He was never too busy to listen. In fact, he loved it when I practiced. And practiced I did over and over again. "Ma nishtana halayla hazeh," I sang. And Chametz repeated in his parrot squeaky voice, "Ma nishtana halayla hazeh." "Mikol halelot," I continued. "Mikol halelot," squeaked the parrot. Would Papa be surprised? I could hardly wait for the Seder. At last the day came. David and Fran helped Mama in the kitchen. Rachel and Saul set the table. Joey, Becky, and I checked that everything was in order. "Hagadot?" Joey asked. "Check," I said. "Charoset?" Becky said, sampling some. "Wine?" "Enough for every cup, and Elijah too," Papa said as we carried in the case. The guest arrived. Everyone was so dressed up. After we admired the table, we took our places, and Papa began the Seder. He broke the middle matzah and put half under the satin cover. He wrapped the other half in a napkin. "This is the afikomen," he said, as he slipped it behind his pillow. "It means dessert. Whoever finds it will get a reward." We all smiled. "Don't worry," Saul whispered to me. "I'll take it when Papa's busy singing. Then I'll give it to you, Liba." Joey laughed. He already had taken the afikomen. "Here, Liba, hide it quickly," he whispered. I stood on the chair and began to sing. Oh, I skipped a page. I snatched the napkin with the afikoman and disappeared into my bedroom. As I slipped back into my seat, Papa called, "Quiet, everyone. Liba will ask the 4 questions." I stood on a chair and began to sing, "Ma nishtana halayla hazeh." And as I paused to take a breath, Chametz, who had been sitting quietly in his cage in the living room, repeated in his squeaky parrot voice, "Ma nishtana halayla hazeh." All eyes turned to Chametz. I tried to continue. Mikol halelot. The parrot squeaked right after me. Mikol halelot. My brothers giggled. The guests laughed too. "Take the parrot up to the bedroom," Papa ordered. I did as he said. When I came back, I sang the 4 questions without a single mistake. The guests clapped and Papa smiled. The sweet singing and the delicious meal took all my attention, and I soon forgot the parrot. At last, Papa called for the afikoman so we could finish the Seder. "Joey, do you have it?" "No, Papa." "Saul, do you have it?" "No, Papa." "Liba?" "Yes, Papa." "Yes." "May I have it, please?" I ran to my bedroom, but there was no afikoman. I looked under the table and under the bed. No afikoman. And there was no parrot either. The cage door was wide open, and Chametz was gone. I sat down on the floor and began to cry. Papa sent Joey, and he searched too. Then came Saul. In a minute he knew exactly what had happened. "Follow me," he said. Joey and I followed him down the stairs, through the kitchen, and out the back door into the yard. There was Chametz, perched on a branch of our tall oak tree, holding the afikoman tightly in his beak. Suddenly, "Somebody has to climb the tree," Saul said. "You better go," said Joey. "I might tear my new pants." "No, don't go," I said. "Let me just talk to Chametz." Then at the top of my lungs, I sang as loudly as I could, "Ma nishtana halayla hazeh." Chametz couldn't resist. He opened his beak and repeated word for word, "Ma nishtana." The afikoman dropped. Did Joey catch it? Did Saul? You'll never believe it, but I caught it myself. Well, what was left of it. When I turned around, the whole family and all our guests were standing and watching and clapping. Ma nishtana halayla hazeh mikol halelot. As we returned to the house to finish the Seder, we heard echoes of a squeaky voice singing Ma nishtana. Chametz had flown quietly back through the window, into the cage, onto the perch where he stood on one leg, practicing for the second night Seder. Another wonderful book, another by Carben. You should buy all of these books. Chag Sameach.